All right, guys. All right, so AMD still right around the same spot as when we left yesterday. Still green relative to when they dropped their earnings. Um, the SPY itself, not a little bit. All right, guys. What's up, DS, Bal, Randy, Max? What's up, Beach? All right, let me put some music on. All right, we will wait. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do a poll here. What do we got today? ADP non-farm employment data. ADP non-farm data help or hurt the market? Help, hurt. Where's Tesla at? Tesla down a little bit today. It's at 250s. Again, it it might be a little buy zone here, but who knows? We don't know if the market's going to keep going up. It could affect some like that the broader markets, the S&P, the Nasdaq currencies regarding ADP numbers. The SPY's down a little bit, but I mean, you got to understand what the market's done. It's never going to go straight up. Again, here's a daily chart on the SPY. That's a pretty big move. Here's March, November. Yeah, so here's this year on the SPY. You know what I mean? So like it's never gonna go straight up. Uh, you know, I mean, that is the market this year. So like if it does this, it's not the end of the world, I think. Yeah, AMD on the right. You can see AMD sitting at 119s. Still green relative to the earnings. Earnings came out about 117s. We're at a little bit under 120s right now. We did our poll. 56% so far said help the market. 47% said hurt. I got to drink some coffee. Bear with me, guys. Let me wake up a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what's really active in Germany overseas regarding EVs. I really don't know. All right, guys. What's up, Mr. DeSoto, Import, Bow, Randy? Again, I mean, Bears, listen, you might have your day today. But again, the market is not really down much relative to where we were. I mean, we're red today, don't get me wrong, but it's super red, not really. The biggest red stock is Tesla. Tesla and Meta are pretty red, and that's not really a shock. Y'all don't hear the music? Oh, my bad, guys. Here, let me fix this. I'm over here listening to music. There you go. That should help. All right, so we do have Humana and CVS about to drop their numbers right now. Humana and CVS about to drop their numbers right now. Let's see what these show up as. Here's CVS on the right. Here is CVS. Here's Humana. Both flattish heading into the market. All right, so here's CVS numbers. CVS just reported they posted EPS of 148 versus 212 expected. Well, it looks to me like much worse than expected earnings. Again, diluted EPS of 148, adjusted EPS. Okay, 221. I'm sorry. So adjusted EPS actually came in at 221 versus 212 expected for CVS, and they are gapping up nicely on this, up to 74.20s. 74.20s. We're going to put the CVS numbers up in chat right here. We're also going to put the Humana numbers up if they show it. 221 EPS beat estimates, sales beat estimates. They see fiscal year revenue 844 to 873. We'll put this number up in chat as well for CVS. There's the numbers at the bottom of the screen. Fiscal year EPS 653 to 675 for the fiscal year. EPS guidance. And that's CVS on the right side. CVS actually up a decent amount on this, all the way at 74.40s. 74.40s. We also have Humana, which posted 849, 894 EPS, beat the 888 estimates. There's the Humana numbers on the left side here. They haven't really moved much from this. But both seem to have posted better than expected results. What's up, Alyssa? All right, what's your best buys this morning, guys? Let me know. How's the NASDAQ acting this morning? I would look at like Meta for a buy, but I think Meta's a little bit too extended on the upside for me. All right, guys. We are going to get ready to, again, ADP non-farm data is coming out today. The E-mini's been pumping up right now. Having a hard time seeing CVS hold these morning pops. Yeah, well, CVS came in pretty good with their EPS numbers. Again, we'll put the numbers up on screen, but CVS dropped their earnings already. Humana did as well. So, again, here's Humana numbers in the chat. We did get CVS numbers too. Here's CVS. CVS posted 221 versus 211 EPS. Revenue of 88.9 versus 86.5 expected. There's CVS numbers right there. We'll put these numbers up on screen also. There's CVS. Those are the only real big earnings that are left today. What's up, CT? What's up, Han? I believe Amazon will beat. Beat means it won't tank after earnings. It might not spike, but it won't tank. It'll just trade flat. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff's been beating. I mean, the earnings that we've gotten lately have all been like much better than expected, to be honest, from what I can see. You know. And again, here's CVS. So CVS up some on this news. Again, we're going to put AMD up and then put maybe CVS on the right. CVS hasn't really moved that much, but AMD is starting to bounce back some. AMD all the way back up to 119.20s, basically 120s right now. CVS really down. I think in-store pharmacies are down a lot. But with that, there might be an argument on these earnings for CVS. Again, here is through January. So, I mean, it's down a lot. It's still down. I mean, there might be an argument for a buy here. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know enough about CVS. I think CVS pays a pretty good dividend. No. Bad fill if I try to get filled in right now. I'm just going to wait. There we go. Any more Disney lately? I'm bringing back their div. I don't know. I took most of my profit on Disney and Target yesterday. We're still holding a little piece of these, and we're definitely down on Target today. But with Disney, we've already taken so much profit. Our average price on Disney is 86s. We're at 88 something right now. So see, I'm mostly a poker player that plays sit and goes. Like, I'm not really like a big. I'm mostly a poker player that plays sit and goes. But I've been trying to learn cash games lately. Give me your best advice. And we're looking at the market here as well, trying to find something good to get involved with. For me, I'm usually just like a little bit too aggressive in cash games. So cash games and poker are I'm actually pretty good at poker, but I'm not really great at like say the format of cash games. Like what I'm really good at is something called sit and goes, which are really games that ultimately allow you to it's a mini tournament of like 6 to 9 people is what it is. So it's like if I can come in the top 2 or 3 of these tournaments, then I cash. And I cash in like 40 or 50% of the sit and goes I enter, which is a very high cash percentage, to be honest. It's pretty high cash percentage. But with that, you know, there's more variance, and I think cash games are a little bit better. But again, I've just never really played cash games. I'm looking at CVS to maybe get a dip buy here. But again, I can't really buy it now on Toss and on Momo. Well, no, you play with chips. Sit and goes are a mini tournament. Cash games are just regular poker. Probably what most people would think of when they think poker. Just playing like there's chips, but there's no tournament structure. It's just kind of you versus everybody else. It's crazy the number of times a company will beat earnings and still tank. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand that they're the ones that set, you know, a lot of these numbers out. You know what I mean? So it's like even if they beat the expected numbers, it's not the greatest thing in the world. You still got to look at the actual price. You know, if that makes sense. I mean, it's good to set expectations, but a lot of the times the companies, like the analysts, have their own agenda. Like they're you know, the banks and the analysts are the ones that are setting these expectations for earnings. So I guess my point is that what it looks like, especially with this earnings season, is that a lot of them underestimated, you know, the expected earnings, and so we're getting a lot of beats this season. But like, we're not. even though we're getting some beats, we're not getting some crazy reactions, if that makes sense. Yeah, in a cash game, if you have $100 at the table, you know, and the big blind is $5, that's $5, you know. In a tournament, in a sit and go, for instance, they're going to give everybody the same amount of chips in the beginning, and there's going to be like a fee to enter, and it's going to be like a mini tournament. And once you're out of chips, you're eliminated. Where in a cash game, you could put up more money if you want and just kind of keep playing. So it's, you know, again, sit and goes are kind of mini tournament structure. That's really what I'm good at. And now that I make more money, I'm very tempted, although I'm stopping myself from doing it because I've never actually beat the higher stakes. You know, I've beat the small stakes where it's like I've been able to beat, you know, $5 tourneys, $5 sit and goes, stuff like that. But I've never beaten $30 sit and goes, $40 sit and goes, and there's a huge difference of skill in those games versus what I've been playing. So I'm just not good at cash games. I'm not patient enough to play cash games. I'm really good at poker in terms of sit and go structure. That's a game that I've played over and over and over again. I just don't know if I'll ever be good at cash games. I'm just not the cash game player. I think every time I've gone to the casino, I've played well in cash games, but online cash games are just different. Yeah, Tesla down about 250s, Disney at 88. So Disney's not really down that much. CVS is one that I'm interested in buying up for my long-term portfolio, but you know, I'm establishing a good little long-term portfolio here. I've got Microsoft. This is my portfolio that I bought yesterday. And again, I'm down on it, but it's a longer-term portfolio for those to understand, okay? So, I am in Exxon, Walgreens, Tyson Foods, Target, the SOXS Nvidia microchip, Bear ETF, Snapchat, RTX, Roblox, Microsoft, Honeywell, Google, Gold, General Mills, Enphase, Disney, and AMC, right? And I know some of these people are going to be like, man, those are terrible stocks. And I understand, right? A lot of these are terrible stocks. The reason I'm buying them is because they're down so much. You know, so when they're down so much, that's why I'm buying these things up. So again, ADP non-farm data coming out today. I'm gonna put a timer up. I think for me, it's time to just raise my stakes in poker because it's like, look, usually what I can beat, right? So here's the reality of it. If you want me to be honest about my poker skill, what I can beat are $5 to $10 sit and goes, right? But the reality of it is I got to play like 4 or 5 at a time in order to make any type of reasonable amount of money. And I can play 4 or 5 at a time, but it's like at a certain point, you know, I make money doing it, but the edge is low in poker. Like you're not going to just get rich. You know, you're going to have to play game after game after game after game of that in order to make any type of significant money. And with money I'm making elsewhere in business, it's just a very hard justification of time, if that makes sense. Like it's very hard for me to devote time to poker, even though I'm good at it and I'm a winning poker player. It's very hard for me to devote time to it right now because, again, the stakes that I know I can beat, you know, I might make $5 an hour, you know, $10 an hour. It's just not worth the time for me sitting there. So I think the only natural step is to slowly scale up my size and trade larger stakes. I'm going to start playing probably maybe $20 to $25 sit and goes. I think those are reasonable to where I'll respect the money a little bit more, and I'll respect the time a little bit more. You know, you win a $25 sit and go, you might make, you know, $50 to $100, depending on how much it is. I love poker. Poker is like my first love. It's one of the things, like I was talking to Michael Patak, who's the CEO of Topstep. He came on my stream last week. He's a big poker player too, which is cool. There's a lot of poker traders because there's a lot of similarities. Like if you like trading, poker is incredibly similar in a lot of different ways. Like poker has risk reward calculation. You're basically using mathematics to figure out what your odds are in any specific hand, basing it off of how many cards are in the deck versus how many cards you see on the flop, and then you're kind of on hand calculating your odds of hitting your specific card. And so it's really a mathematics game. Poker is really a mathematics game, and that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that you use math, you calculate risk reward using like pot odds and stuff like that to figure out what your potential is, what your odds are. Very similar to trading. You know, variance is there. You might do everything right and still lose in poker, just like in trading. You might do everything right and still lose. And so there's a lot of variance, but again, it's kind of what got me into trading. Yellow. What's the symbol? Snap has a bigger chance of going back up as compared to CVS. From CVS as of now, it doesn't seem like it confirmed. Yeah, the only issue I have with CVS is because at least in my area, Walgreens seems like the bigger company. So like Walgreens seems to be the bigger company. With that, I don't know if I need to buy CVS. I think I'm going to get the pharmacy move with Walgreens, but I think Walgreens is a little bit safer than CVS. At least in my area, Walgreens are much more common than CVS are. Well, I mean, CT, you know, it's a little bit of both, for sure. It depends on what point in time you're looking at it. So, like, if you look at any outcome of any individual hand, right? Sure, a large percentage of outcome on any of those individual hands are going to be luck, right? So, like, any individual hand, it might be over 50% luck and like 30-40% skill or whatever it is, 60% luck, 40% skill, right? And that's very true. Very true, right? Variance is there. Variance is true and variance is real. And you might have pocket aces and do everything right in that hand and still get cracked by a full house or trips or whatever it is, you know, and still lose, even though you did everything right. Same thing with trading. You might do everything right, trade the A+ setup and still lose. The difference is when you zoom out on poker and in trading, right? Skill long-term, like long-term outcome in poker is 100% skill, right? So like what you do long-term, volume-wise, is skill-based, you know? So like if you look at your results, if you play poker every day and you zoom out and look over your results over a couple year period, it's all based on skill. Like how much you make or don't make, your graph is going to be purely based on skill in that regard. Because after a certain point, the variance plays out. No, and once the variance plays out, then you know what I mean. Then it's just skill based. I think to buy a company that has tanked a lot, the stock price should have bounced at least 20% from the 52-week low. At least you get the confirmation that it's going to go back up. Sure, but it depends on like the real edge from my system of buying up these type of stocks is really just I'm looking at stocks that are down a lot. Regardless of what anybody says, I'm looking at how much they're earning, what the PE ratio is, and what the company looks like. Like, I'm not going to be buying up mid caps that are really speculative. These are mostly large cap companies. Like, the most speculative stocks in my current portfolio are, I would say, Roblox, Snapchat. The rest of Enphase, Those three and maybe Honeywell are the most speculative stocks in my portfolio. But even with those being the most speculative stocks in my portfolio, it's still like those are pretty safe stocks. Like Snapchat, it might be volatile, but number one, we're in very small size for Snapchat, not a big trade. Green on the trade altogether as well. Roblox, we took profit on Roblox yesterday when it bounced. So we had 40 shares of Roblox. We ended up taking 10 off yesterday on the bounce. Our average price is 38, and Roblox is currently at almost 39. So we're still green on that trade. Microsoft, it's Microsoft. It's going to be fine long term. We bought Microsoft on a dip here. So like if you look at Microsoft, we ended up buying on a dip. Microsoft had this little dip on the daily chart, and I think Microsoft's PE relative to the craziness is still pretty good throughout all this stuff. And so I think Microsoft, even if it dips some more, we're still going to have some upward momentum for Microsoft moving forward. And the reason I bought Microsoft is just to kind of diversify. Like there's some really speculative companies in my portfolio, and so I want some really safe long-term companies because my plan is to hold a lot of these long-term. And I think Microsoft's one of the safest long-term. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Disney, Google, Walmart, stuff like that. Target, Target, again, as much hate as Target gets, when you pull back and you stop looking at the emotion behind everything and you just look at their numbers, their PE ratio is very low. So their price versus like the amount of money that they're bringing in versus the stock price is very cheap. It's like 20 PE ratio, which is very cheap relative to a lot of other stocks in the market right now. When you go to Target, it's still tons of people there. There's still a lot of people there. It's still very busy. It's still bringing in good money as well, right? And so despite – and it's down huge and the PE ratio is really low, right? So despite all the drama and politics behind this, I don't care about any of that stuff. I'm just looking at how much they make versus what the price currently is. And in that regard, I bought Target. My plan is just to hold Target for a while if I need to. Like I'll hold it for years if I need to. But that's my plan on it. We bought Walgreens. Again, Walgreens, we took some profit on it, and then we added it back. We're pretty much flat on that trade. Tyson, I know TSN, it's one that I'm a little bit more nervous about in my portfolio. It's at 55.30s right now. Our average is not bad at all, though, so we still got a lot of room for this one. The only thing I'm slightly worried is, like, it's got a really rough long-term daily chart, but I think Tyson Foods is still going to be fine long-term. I'm not sure where it's going to land, though. That one might be some risk in my portfolio. Snapchat is, again, volatile, but I think it's going to be okay. It's got a ton of DAUs. I'm holding a small piece that I'm actually green on RTX, which is Raytheon. And I like the dip after Raytheon. It's almost up to 88s. We're green on the trade altogether, but it's a small enough trade to where I'm not super worried about it. Roblox, and I'm not going to say I'm a Roblox hater, but like Roblox, when it was at 80s, I was really skeptical of it. Jack, my son, made his famous pick where he said that he liked Roblox. He thought Roblox was going to drop 50% when it was at $80, and it did drop exactly 50%. A little bit more than that now, but he was right about that. But now at this point, when you look at Roblox on a short-term chart, it's slightly red on the year, but it's still one of those companies that's down a lot over the last few years. And I think at $38, there's probably some objective value there, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think at $38, there's probably some objective value there. Microsoft obviously going to be fine. Honeywell, I've had some experiences with Honeywell as a company. They're down, they're down over the last few days heavily. They dropped from 210 to 190s over the last few days. They're at a nice little pullback level at around a milestone support level at 190. All of that seems to be good. They're a good long-term company as well. Green on the year. And so in a very nice weekly chart, if you look at Honeywell's weekly chart. And so this one's a long-term play too. We'll see what happens with Honeywell. Google, we're in a little bit of Google. We bought a little bit. Again, long-term hold there. Gold is just kind of a hedge against the other ones because sometimes there's an inverse relationship there with gold. So we bought that. General Mills owns a lot of your favorite cereal companies. And they had a nice pullback that we were able to scale into yesterday. Small size, but a good-looking daily chart where, if you look at General Mills long-term, it's a very healthy weekly chart, and it's been pulling back for a long time now. So we got a nice little dip there that we're sitting in. ENPH is a company that I know very small amount about. It's a very small position, and I think I actually took some profit on this one yesterday. But yeah, we're just going to sit on this one and just kind of hang out and see what happens there. It's very small. And then Disney, of course, we've been making a lot of money on. We've mostly scaled out of it. We've got a very small position left. And so that's my portfolio today. Again, let me know what you guys think of it. But that's my portfolio today. Yeah, not bad. What's your portfolio look like, guys? Let me know what your portfolio is. Isn't there a commercial that says what's in your portfolio? Again, Apple and Amazon earnings should influence the market pretty big. And the reason I decided to start going heavy is because it's like, look, I know my swing trading strategy works, and I know if I diversify well enough into it that I'm going to be fine. And it's one of those things that, like, I've got these two really large accounts that have like 30K in them, and I don't really use them that much. And so I figure I need to put my money to work with me a little bit, even if it's long term. Even if I sit on a lot of these long term, I think that's okay, because ultimately I need to just be patient with some of these, and I think I'll be fine. Yeah, AMD starting to fight back, almost back up to 120s. Again, if we look at the SPY today, we did have Humana and CVS drop their numbers. SPY basically rebounded all the way back up. Was red on the day, basically came all the way back up and started green. And so again, we'll see if we hold these numbers, but mostly bounce backs in the market right now. We're also kind of close to getting funded in another one of these accounts. Yeah, I mean, I've got portfolios elsewhere, you know. Man, dude, I burnt myself on my toaster, dude. I've got this like burn on my thumb. It's a pain. It hurts. I gotta go get a Band-Aid because it's like it's my mouse hand, you know. Yeah, all good, David. The question is, do I want to add to some stuff here? I think I'm going to wait for Apple and Amazon earnings to end, because that might cause some just big volatility all the way around. Yeah, a lot of the stocks I bought are dividend-paying stocks as well. Walgreens. Walgreens has a just under 50 cent quarterly divvy for Walgreens. What else am I holding? Exxon. Exxon has a 91 cent quarterly dividend. Tyson has a quarterly dividend. Target has a $1.10 quarterly dividend. Microsoft pays a 68-cent quarterly dividend. All right. What? Sometimes Google's a trip. So I asked when's Target's next dividend date. It says Target's latest ex-divvy date was August 15th. The Target shareholders received the last dividend payment of $1.10 per share on September 10th, 2023. I'm sitting there like, oh, they did? How nice is that? It's August of 23. Yeah, Target just has a low PE ratio. Yeah, Verlander back with the Astros. I don't know if it's a good move. Yeah, but didn't IEP drop like ridiculous percentages short term? Yeah, dude, this thing. They might pay the greatest divvy ever, Peter, at $2 a share quarterly, but they've dropped this year specifically. They've dropped 40%, sir, when the market has been pushing up 40% this year. And so it doesn't matter what kind of divvy they pay, unless they're going to pay me $20 a share in dividend. You know, you're still going to lose money net this year if you buy IEP. You know what I mean? You know, I had that really expensive flip phone for a long time. You know what I mean? I had that really expensive flip phone for a long time, and I ended up buying just a cheapo phone, and this cheapo phone works noticeably better than not better. I don't really notice any difference between the phone I'm using now and the super expensive $1,000 phone. And this phone was like $100, and it's an Android. It again, the question is, why are we spending thousands of dollars on phones that are all basically the same thing, you know, with slight subtle differences, you know? All right, guys. So again, we're sitting tight. SPY bouncing back up. Look at AMD rip all the way up to 120.30s right here. 120.30s. What a crazy move. Why does the market get smacked overnight? Yeah, I don't know, man. What's up, Shepard? Yeah, CJ Cron is a good pickup. So again, the market is down today. Rating agency Fitch downgraded the U.S. top-tier sovereign credit rating by one notch to AA+ from AAA, citing fiscal deterioration. A decision announced after the close yesterday. It hurt markets for sure. But yeah, stocks set to open lower today, although we're not really down that much on the SPY. I mean, we're down a little bit. They said, quote, "The lack of movement in U.S. Treasury bonds and the dollar index suggests the market has already largely quantified and assessed the damage done from recent fallouts." And that was said by Sophie Lund Yates, which is the lead equity analyst at Hargreaves Lansdown. So again, the rating agency Fitch downgraded the U.S. to AA+. It came after it put the ratings on negative watch in May. The White House got upset and said it was, quote, "arbitrary and based on outdated data," end quote. It came 2 months after a debt ceiling agreement averted a U.S. default, so that's why they said that. And then Lund Yates again said, quote, "It's true that this move by Fitch is somewhat based on outdated data, especially with the trajectory of inflation now at a more favorable gradient." Deutsche Bank strategist Jim Reed said, quote, "S&P being the first to downgrade 12 years ago was far bigger news and has allowed investors to adjust for the most important bond market in the world not being a pure AAA anymore, but it's still a big decision." It's likely to have a huge impact on treasuries, they're saying, and it does cause some uncertainty, of course. Treasury said on Monday this week as well that it expected to borrow over $1 trillion in the third quarter, which is what they are saying is the largest, fiscal amount ever for that period, compared with May's $274 billion. Basically, the downgrade is saying that the U.S. spending is a problem. It's not sustainable. And so, yeah, that's the news today. Market's down a little bit. You can see the SPY at 454s. But again, I mean, listen, you're going to get a lot of doom and gloom talk. You're going to get a lot of "I told you so" from the bears. But I think, if you pull up a daily chart, it kind of gets rid of a lot of this noise. Here's the SPY this year. You know what I mean? So here's the S&P 500 this year. So this move specifically, guys, is just this. So it's like this move is this. So it's a very small drop in the SPY, very small drop. This move, it goes down to here. So we are basically, just to put this in perspective to show you where we are now, we are right about here. So again, not the end of the world drop. I'm not saying it doesn't spark a bear trend, but it's not the end of the world. The S&P is up a lot, though. That is true. What's up, Stuart? Yeah, there's always something to move the market. Well, a phone might make you rich, but it's not going to be like the type of phone is not going to matter as much as you think it will. Phones can be powerful if you use them right. I've built a lot of this business as well as other businesses on my phone. Again, the difference though is that like spending that extra K on a phone is not going to be justifiable most of the time. It's just, it's just a waste of money. Yeah, and regarding like cars, like we have a nice car. I'm not going to say what kind it is, but we've got a pretty nice car. But it depends on how much money you have, right? Like I've always said, like you can buy a new car if you pay for it, right? And our car is paid for. If you don't have, don't finance a new car trying to look cool. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the worst decisions you can make financially, especially for young people. Now, if you don't have another option, that's one thing, but if you've got 10K, buy a used car, man. You can get a nice car for 10K used. The biggest mistake a lot of young people make is that they finance new cars that lock them in debt for years and years and years. You know what I mean? Money they could spend elsewhere is getting spent trying to look cool. And in 5 years, that car is not going to be as cool as it was today. But it's still, a lot of people finance cars. If you've got kind of FU money where you can buy it and it doesn't matter, that's one thing. If you can pay cash for it, that's one thing. But financing a new car is usually a bad move. No, it's an SUV. Ask yourself the question why banks will lend you money if you have a salary but not lend to a millionaire with no job. Because a millionaire doesn't have any income he's bringing in. If the millionaire's bringing in income, they'll certainly loan him money. But again, it depends on how long they've been building that. Banks want 2 years of work proof. So we already had CVS and Humana earnings drop. You can get a vocational education for cheap and make money like plumber or plane. Yeah, 100%. I mean, listen, you could listen. There's a lot of ways to make money in the world. The people who do the best are typically business owners, people who start their own businesses. You know what I mean? Like people who start their own businesses. Again, it's yours. You have your own business. You have your own income, and I think that is, I think a salary is great. But in terms of like the potential, like the ceiling. Running your own business has a much larger ceiling than getting a salary from any company. The most you're ever really going to make salary wise from a company is like $300K a year, $400K a year, unless you're at like the top, which means like you graduated Ivy League or you got your MBA and you've been in corporate America for 10 plus years, 15 years. Then maybe you'll get like maybe, but it's still a pretty low probability you'll get a job paying over $300K a year. Outside of that, your ceiling is basically $300K, as opposed to like a business where you have a much higher ceiling. You know, you can make millions every year. And so I think it depends on the person. Try to get a loan while being a waitress. Banks can't see credit card tips and pay rates. You can't get a loan. Weird, right? Yeah. But they'll see, yeah. I mean, I don't even know if you want a loan, though, to be honest. Like, loans, like, houses are cool. But, like, there's not, paying rent's not, like, the worst thing ever. You know, you have more freedom paying rent. You can move around. You can find different places. You can do different things. And I know, like, it's kind of the grass is greener. Like, people who own envy being able to move around. People who rent envy being able to own. And so I think it's the grass is greener complex. But sometimes you don't want a loan, I guess is the point. All right, so look at AMD. Nicely green, back up over 120s. Green in the after hours extended hour session. Here's the SPY on the left. Again, SPY started to rebound, dropped a little bit. Pretty much flat day yesterday. We do have ADP data coming out this morning as well. Yeah, I mean, all software devs are definitely not getting paid $300K a year. I think it may be in California or like New York, where the price of living is much higher. You know, you might make $300K a year, but it's not going to go as far because, you know, because it's Cali or New York. Outside of those two states, I would say the average salary for a dev is probably like $100K, you know. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Shepard. That's rough. The big problem with renting is that rent is so high you feel like you could just buy. Yeah. Yeah, welders make a bunch. Construction workers, unless you're like the lead or the head of that job, it's going to be a tough job. A lot of other skilled jobs, though, welders are really highly paid, good labor. Electricians, plumbers, they all make a good amount of money salary wise. Yeah, so that probably equals out Shepard to like what, $20 an hour at least. 20, $25 an hour. Again, it's not going to get you that far in New York, though. You try to rent in New York, you get a little bitty one bedroom apartment in New York. It's going to be like $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month for a tiny like studio apartment. And so if you're moving to New York, just make sure you're not what's the word where you claustrophobic. Nice, Shepard. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, what I notice is that like you always want more. I've gone through different stages, man. I remember when I started this YouTube channel. When I first started this channel, it was I remember just thinking, man, if this channel can make $1,000 a month, like I've got it made in the shade, I'm just gonna be just set, right? And then you start making $1,000 a month, and then you say, okay, well, if it can make $4,000 a month, I'm set. Then you start making $4,000 a month. Then it goes up to 6. Then it goes up higher and higher and higher and higher. And so no matter where you are, no matter where I am, I'm trying to make more. And I think that's what you have to do in business. Like you have to scale. And so, it's good and bad, I think. You know what I mean? Like once you get there, it doesn't feel as good as you ever thought it would. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel as good as you imagined it would, but I'm very blessed, very happy. But yeah, I guess the point is human nature. You're always going to want more. I think that's just human nature. We got a chance to get funded on another account today. Another account potential funding today. We'll see if we can hit it. But yeah, we got a chance to. We need to make a big day, and I might drag it into 2 or 3 days. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean New York City, not New York State. I'm sure you could probably find some stuff in New York State that's cheaper. I see a couple people listing it. But I'm talking about the city. You want to be in the city, it's going to cost you. But you're also going to get paid more, so there's pros and cons. If some of you guys in the U.S. ever thought about moving to Australia where the minimum wage is way higher, just curious. Not from my understanding, Australians don't like people moving there. From what I've heard, Australians are very anti foreign people moving there, because I think what happened is that you just get such a saturation of that over time in Australia, where you got a bunch of Americans moving there because it's so pretty and nice. But I don't know. This was a documentary I saw a long time ago. Yeah, the downgrade is interesting. The market seems resilient, though. Like, we dipped a lot, and now we're bouncing basically all the way back. So you can kind of see we dropped from the downgrade and some other things in after hours, and we're basically right back up to where we were. We're back up to 254s right now. So I mean, market's been pretty resilient this morning, bouncing back from all that stuff. Yeah, those spiders, man. I don't like spiders. In my opinion, the problem is you're never happy, because when you reach the salary you want, you can't buy that much that you thought. I mean, I could buy basically whatever I want right now within reason. I guess my point is, like, the easiest way to put it is that I don't really want anything anymore. I don't want for anything anymore. Like, I have everything I need. My family's taken care of. It's hard to get excited about stuff after a while, because you just kind of have what you want. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, I'd love to make more, but, like, you know. Yeah, I hate spiders. All right, so again, we are trading today, guys. We are trading today. Again, the job right now is to build up a cushion first. I need to build up a cushion. If I could build up a cushion, then we're going to swing a little bit harder. The goal is to build up a cushion currently. We'll see if we can. Yeah, here's AMD at 120s. So AMD is basically rebounded all the way back to after the downgrade. Again, we got non-farm data dropping in like less than an hour. So let me put the timer up. Non-farm data does drop pretty soon. Let me put this all right, so again, we got less than an hour before non-farm data drops. Again, I'm going to put the timer up here. We still have, let's see, we got like 42 minutes left. So here's the timer, 42 minutes left. Again, there's the SPY. We are short here. We got in one contract of the regular E-mini. We are shorting this market here. I'm going to go ahead and take that profit down there. So we just locked in a little bit more. $50 screen. Oh, no, we're up 60, 62. All right, that's cool. Not really any other big earnings today. I use Quant Tower, and I think Trade-Avate's been having some issues. So I think Quant Tower's been a little bit better for people lately. Some kid did a documentary on that. Well, billionaire is different. All right, if you're a billionaire, and especially if you're a billionaire and you're single, you know, you'll find stuff to do. You know what I mean? But, you know, again, I'm married. I got kids. I got basically anything I could really want in life. And I'm very fulfilling, happy in life. But I guess the whole point I'm trying to make, and I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. I think some people might be insecure about what I'm saying, but I'm really not trying to brag. My point was that, like, at a certain point, money really doesn't make you happy. You know, you got to find other things in life that fulfill, you know, that make you happy. You know. Ferrari earnings? Isn't Ferrari symbol race? Let me look this up. Yeah, for race. Oh, race does drop their earnings. So Ferrari earnings are coming out today. Let's see what they show. Spirit Airlines dropped their numbers. Again, so Spirit dropping their numbers today. Market looks pretty resilient despite all this stuff going on right now. Well, money definitely buys some happiness, right? But I guess my point is like it's not just gonna you're not gonna be always happy if you have it, you know. Yeah, for sure. All right, so again, we're sitting tight. AMD rebounding all the way back up here, all the way back up. Nice to see. I'm for the market doing well. Again, we're trading on Quant Tower today too. We're already green on the day. We got a nice little cushion. We might get funded on account number 2 today. And then if I get funded on 2 accounts, then we are going to definitely be a little bit more active with our trades. All right, so yeah, we're up over 100 on the day now. Ferrari earnings are set to drop at 8:05 a.m. So we still got a couple minutes for Ferrari earnings. It's scheduled to drop at 8:05. Again, we're at another trade here. We're already locked in $75 net on the day profit. We'll get out of this one break even and still be up almost 80 bucks on the day if it doesn't work. But we got a nice little entry where, you know, we can get out close to break even if it turns on us, but hopefully it doesn't. The Gambler's Anthem. The Gambler's Anthem. Yaren. Said by every gambler, every person that was addicted to the rush of gambling. You know? I mean, I'm up like 100 bucks today, and it's not even, you know, it's not even 8 a.m. yet. I think I'm all right. All right, so we'll see if we get a breakdown. And again, I mean, understand risk management, guys. There's a lot of people that just don't understand it. A lot of people just truly don't understand risk management. Like what I'm doing is I'm building up a profit cushion first. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this. Again, still up about 100 bucks on the day. But again, what I'm doing is I'm building up a cushion in pre-market. Like if I could build up a small cushion in pre, great. You know, then that way I can take larger risk at the opening bell. And to put it into perspective, in this account yesterday, if we look at my graph here, we're doing really nice in this account. I think we made like $1,000 yesterday. A little bit less than $1,000. Yeah, so here's our goal yesterday. We had 2.57 to 1 win-loss ratio. We ended up making yesterday about 930 on the day. Not bad. I'll take it. About 930. I have no idea whether you should buy AMD or not. As a maritime professional chef in mega yachts and worked for the past 12 years, money doesn't give you happiness per se. Yeah, it depends. Like, it depends on the situation. It can definitely help. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I bought a little bit of TSM yesterday. Yeah, guys. So again, you can kind of see me green on this account on the day. We are up about 102 bucks, a little bit more than that actually. We're up about 140 once I lock profit in on this one. But again, 3-to-1 profit factor today. Drawdowns 1250. Locked in profit. We're up about $103. And so I'll probably get out the rest here, but nice little cushion on the day. Let's do a poll here today. So we got a poll actually. Does ADP non-farm data help or hurt the market? I guess we'll do a poll after this. Remind me to do a poll. We'll switch it up. Yeah, we're trying to get funded today on account number 2. We'll see if we do. Waiting for a potential reversal here as well. Let's see if we get anything good. Again, ADP data comes out in 30 minutes, guys. 30 minutes for ADP data. Again, this is the prelim non-farm data. To put it into perspective, today we got the ADP non-farm employment change. Thursday, we got jobless claims, and I think services and non-manufacturing PMI. And then Friday, we get unemployment and actual payroll numbers, which will be a huge release. Very important, relevant release. So should be pretty big. And again, we'll see if we get anything good. But we do have those numbers dropping today. ADP non-farm employment change numbers. If you look at the expectations today, they're expecting 189,000 for those ADP numbers. 189K, 89,000 for the ADP non-farm employment change numbers. And again, these are prelim numbers. ADP performs payroll services. It measures the monthly change in non-farm private employment based on about 400,000 businesses. For ADP data, it goes 2 days ahead of the big release, which is unemployment and payroll numbers. So again, today's the prelim. It'll give you a little bit of foresight into what might happen on Friday. And again, it should be a big day today. I'm excited. Yeah, everybody listen, I'll tell you this, guys. Please don't be the type of person who pressures people to buy or sell, regardless of whether you're right or wrong. And I'm talking about you, Yaron, who said, quote, sell before it's too late. Again, that type of sensationalism, usually you're just bearish and you have short positions. Again, it's not helpful. One of my big common rules here is just don't pressure anybody to do anything. Don't tell everybody to sell. Don't tell everybody to buy. Don't tell everybody with definitive certain answers that stocks are going to go up, down, or sideways for sure, because nobody knows. And typically what happens is the people who do say that stuff, usually if they're wrong, they just kind of disappear and you never see them again. And even if they're right, it's still not helpful. Yeah, Fitch downgraded the U.S., which is a, you know, they downgraded them from AAA to AA plus. Again, ADP data coming out today, guys. Yeah, it is a question of probability. It's all about probabilities, guys. It's not something that like I want super, this is going to happen. So no, I get it. I get that stuff so much that I really do have to kind of really truly discourage that behavior as much as I can, because again, I just see it a lot, you know. Well, the market cares for sure. Let me pull my Discord up. All right, let me check back. Do I want to do the over under? All right, so hey, market's starting to dip down a little bit. So again, market started the morning off pretty red. Has since started to bounce back though, and now we're finally dipping down a little bit more. So we got some red action today. Hey, thank you, Dennis. What's up, man? Stocks go up after going down. We are expected to keep perfect credit as individuals. Yeah. Dollar climbing up. Yeah, generally there's an inverse correlation with the dollar and the markets as well. So SPY just popped up a lot though. And again, the payroll numbers are going to be the real tell of today. So again, the payroll numbers are going to be what truly influences the market a lot today. Again, we'll see what happens. But the payroll numbers are what you want to watch. They're big. They're important. Not the biggest. Again, the actual prelim or the actual reports that come out on Friday are going to be bigger. And again, we do have unemployment on Friday as well. So some economic data dropping this week to pay attention to. Again, we're going to stream all of it, guys. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I'm also going to throw it in sub-only mode for, for a little bit here, guys, just because, it seems like we might have a little bit of trolls here early. And so, yeah. So everybody announce yourself. Show us that you're truly subbed. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the support. I don't know about mRNA. Aaron, what do you guys think? Is mRNA a good buy or sell? I don't know. All right, guys. Well, will QCOM beat estimates? I don't know. How does ADP affect markets? It might affect it to a certain extent. We don't know how much it's going to affect it. Thank you, Shepard. Did you talk about the Fitch downgrade? Yeah, we talked about it again. So to put it into perspective, guys, we'll talk about it again. Again, Treasury yields are down. Fitch downgraded the U.S. rating, and so Fitch is a rating agency. It downgraded the U.S. unexpectedly from AAA, which is obviously the best, to AA plus. The reason they downgraded the U.S. credit rating is for what they quoted as saying fiscal deterioration. It hurt the markets a little bit yesterday, caused some drops. The 10-year yields were down 2 basis points. The dollar was up 0.2 against the others, and we had some basically downward action after the ratings agency downgraded the U.S. rating from, again, AAA to AA plus. Again, we'll see if we get some good momentum moving forward. But a similar thing happened in 2011 where Standard & Poor's cut the U.S. AAA rating in 2011 after the global crisis in 2008 from mortgages. You can see Deutsche strategist Jim Reed. Again, this is what we quoted earlier. He said, quote, S&P being the first to downgrade 12 years ago was far bigger news and has allowed investors to adjust for the most important bond market in the world not being a pure AAA anymore, but it's still a big decision. Again, that was Deutsche Bank strategist Jim Reed. Market's starting to pull back a little bit still. Again, I'm seeing some pullbacks in the NASDAQ and the S&P currently. Maybe about gold. I don't know how's gold doing. Gold up today, so that's nice. Dropped a lot yesterday, so back up today is not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, we're watching the S&P. It's bouncing back up a little bit now. Again, we'll see if it holds. Again, been a volatile couple days. Bitcoin, where's Bitcoin at? Bitcoin almost up to 30K. With the cut and by the rating agencies, it looks like Bitcoin's, getting treated pretty well in all this. Yeah, it'll affect the dollar some. We don't know how much, but it'll probably affect it some, I would say. We're watching markets here. Again, we're bouncing back up a little bit short term for the SPY. We still got a couple minutes. We got 18 minutes before the non-farm employment data come out. Again, this is just the prelim payroll numbers. Payrolls drop at the end of this week with unemployment. This is just the prelim numbers today. So Again, we'll see if we get some moves. They're expecting 189,000, 189K here for these numbers. And so again, we'll see if we hit it or not. Big green action in stocks. So stocks just pushed up a lot. Big bounce. Again, we'll see if we hold, but a big green candle here in markets. Nasdaq popped up for a split second. Again, CVS is gapping up nicely on their earnings as well. We also had Humana earnings. AMD obviously dropped their earnings. They're over 120 still. Yeah, we're sitting here trading the NASDAQ, kind of going back and forth a little bit here. Again, we're green on the day. And we'll see if we can hold these. But it's just a volatile few days here with the downgrading by Finch. U.S. got downgraded. AMD dropped earnings. We do have Apple and Amazon earnings tomorrow, which is going to be a very big, very relevant, very important release for everything here. So that drops tomorrow. I finally watched the end of Karate Kid 3. I wasn't a big fan of Karate Kid 3. I thought they could have been better. Yeah, we'll cover Ferrari a little bit. Bitcoin has been pushing up. NKLA drops their earnings on Friday this week, huh? So they have been very volatile as well. I don't trust them as a company, though. You know what I mean? So I just don't trust them as a company. All right, so there's the 8 a.m. scrum here, guys. 8 a.m. scrum. Again, the ADP data comes out in 15 minutes. Again, it's not the biggest release, but all right, guys. Okay, we got the ADP non-farm employment data. 8:15 is when it drops. Again, we got less than 15 minutes before this release. Less than 15. Watching everything. Just remember, we might get a surge of volatility at this release. We also have, at about 4 minutes, race, which is Ferrari earnings dropping, and we'll cover that too. NKLA is a squeeze play. It might be. I like True Romance. True Romance is a good film. So I really do like True Romance as a film. It's kind of an OG Tarantino movie. It's good. Yeah, you can kind of see we going back and forth. We're up about 100 today, though. Our win-loss ratio is about 2.8 to 1, so we're doing good there. But again, goal is to build up a decent cushion first and then take larger swings once we have that cushion built. And who knows how long that'll take, but again, goal is to build up a good cushion first, or at least not lose so much to where we can't build that cushion up after the opening bell. And again, we got about 3 minutes before race numbers come out. NASDAQ's actually pretty flat right now. It's not really doing that much. There's the scrum data, and in 2 minutes we have race numbers. What do you think about Fubo? I always get up in the morning and have me a cup of coffee. I'm a noob. Well, that's kind of what everybody does. Neo the pump. All right, so again, the market, to put it into perspective, guys, to everything that's going on, the market has essentially surged down over the last couple 24-hour periods of time. It surged down with, the U.S. getting downgraded in their credit from one of the credit agencies. They were previously AAA. Now they're AA plus. And so again, they were AAA. Now they're AA plus. Again, if you haven't checked out Moomoo as well, guys. If you haven't checked out Moomoo, check it out. Again, really cool platform. I'm using it a lot for my economic data. Traders always ask me. Number one, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm certainly biased, of course. But again, like if you like options, they give you free unusual option activity. What I've been using them for a lot is looking for good performing sectors and finding sympathy movements. Like you can see here, I can look at computer hardware, SPACs, farm and construction, infrastructure, LiDAR concepts, real estate development, all moving here. Let's look at race numbers. I think race did drop their numbers. They came in at 161 for sales, beat the 1.58 billion estimates. EPS beat estimates as well. I'll put these numbers up on screen. But yeah, race came in better than expected. But I've been looking for underperforming sectors. I can also see heat maps and see mostly stuff is red right now. I can look at pre-market and see VRT, LIDR, AHI, RBT is moving. I can look at after hours to see what moved yesterday. I can look at all these other companies. I can look at hot strategies and see bearish flags, horn tops, and see what symbols show up under these right here. I can look at screeners, and I've been building this really nice low PE ratio screener that's really nice screeners, and then you can save it as a strategy. You can see here I specified I want greater than or equal to 100 billion in market cap, less than 40 PE ratio, and that it's around a 20-day low. And you can kind of see it gives me the stocks that are there. This paperfolio section actually allows you to follow different traders. Like this guy's up 34% on the month. I can follow him and see his portfolio, see when he makes transactions on the right. And so again, that's incredibly useful. And again, their news section, like if I go to their news here, I can see the biggest headlines in the market, and that's why they call them Moomoo. But again, I can go to calendar, and I can look for earnings. If I want to see earnings, I can go to earnings and see all the big earnings today, CVS, Humana, all that good stuff. I can go to economic data and type in 3-star, which is the largest, and then type in North America. And again, you can see today we have the non-farm employment change. We got crude oil inventories. Tomorrow we got jobless claims, services, and non-manufacturing PMI. Friday we have payroll numbers and unemployment. And we're going to cover all of this stuff. But again, Zero commission on Moomoo, zero commission stock trades. It's open the entire time in pre-market. And if you open up an account, deposit $100, you get 5 free stocks. You open up an account, deposit over $1,000, you get 15 free stocks. You open up an account, deposit over $5K, you get the previous 15 plus Google or Tesla. And I did get Tesla. If you want to check it out, there's the link. Great way to help support the channel. I'll also pin it to the top of the chat. When I look at the voting numbers for ADP data, I asked people, do y'all think ADP employment numbers are going to help or hurt the market? And we're completely 50-50 split on this. Completely split 50-50. Yeah, so we talked about the downgrade by Finch a couple different times. Again, they downgraded the U.S. So again, they downgraded a couple times. The U.S. rating went from AAA to AA plus, and so a crediting agency downgrading them. Again, we do have the ADP data coming out in like 17 minutes. Or no, I'm sorry, in 12 minutes, 11 minutes. Yeah, Robinhood earnings today. That might be big. I don't know. Robinhood is one of those stocks that, like, it's been a while since we've really seen it run. I could try to cover Hood earnings, but from what I see, it's not the biggest release. All right, getting a big pop up here on this data release. Again, the ADP data drops in 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. I mean, we got some earnings today. Again, we had Ferrari drop their numbers, but today's not really a big day, especially like this morning. This evening, we got PayPal, Shopify, Robinhood, Etsy, and a couple other ones, QCOM, but they're not really big numbers, to be honest. So they're not really the biggest release here, in all honesty. Again, guys, got about 5 minutes. Yeah, we also want to get funded in our 150K combine. Our swing trades are doing a little bit better today, too. Yeah, Unity earnings are big. All right, guys. Hey, we got 2-3 minutes left. Just be careful being in positions right now. I'm going to put the SPY and the Q up because the ADP data to watch how it affects both the NASDAQ and the S&P right here. So again, here's the Q on the right, which is the NASDAQ ETF. And then again, here's the SPY on the left, which is the E-mini or the S&P 500 is essentially what this is. Again, the ADP data drops in less than 2 minutes. Again, less than 2 minutes. Again, we are expecting 189K for ADP non-farm employment change data. 189K. Two minutes left. A little bit less than that, actually. Again, just be careful. We might get some surges of volatility throughout all this stuff. Q is pretty flat leading into it. Again, we got about 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute. Less than a minute now. Make sure you hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. We appreciate it. PayPal drops their numbers after the bell today to get 189,000 expected. All right, guys, here we go. 20 seconds, guys, 20 seconds. Not anything super big impact today. I mean, we got some stuff, but nothing like huge impact wise today. Tomorrow we got some stuff, jobless claims, and then Friday we got unemployment, but it's kind of the slower week in the cycle of weeks. You know, typically what happens is like we get a big exciting week. Last week we had a bunch of big earnings. I get a big there's the release right there for ADP non-farm employment change data. It came in at 324,000 for ADP data. Again, 324,000 versus 189 expected. Way bigger payroll numbers than expected here. Way larger payroll numbers than expected. So yeah, we just scalped a little bit of move on one of these accounts, but yeah, way bigger. 324. Again, guys, 324 numbers versus 189 expected. So way larger payroll numbers than expected here. Way bigger payroll numbers than expected. We'll put the number up on screen. But 324 versus 189. And you can kind of see these numbers up on the screen right now. And the market's not liking this. It's probably a little bit of inflation fears weighing in on this now, but yeah, and again, I'm putting you in timeout, man. I warned you. Please don't tell anybody. Please don't pressure anybody to take one position. Again, that shows insecurity on somebody's part. Nobody knows whether you should buy or sell, and typically it's just not helpful. It ends up confusing people and making people confused. And so again, very easy rule I have here is just don't pressure anybody to do anything. Don't tell people to sell. Don't tell people to buy. Don't tell people, you know, the market's definitively going to do one specific thing. Just keep it easy. You know, you could say, hey, I think the market's going to go do this, or I think the market's going to go down. Just don't pressure. Anyways, that number is pretty high for ADP data. So again, what this means today, and one of the nuances of today, guys, is that this payroll number is pretty high, right? That's pretty big beat in terms of employment numbers. And so what this means is that this is good for economic, sentiment. This is more payroll numbers, better, more, economic growth than expected. But where the problem with this is in inflation terms, right? So this is bad for inflation. Again, payroll numbers going high is bad for inflation. It's not good for inflation. And so in that regard, that's the reason we're kind of seeing negative reactions to this, is because of inflation fears. Again, 324 versus 189K. That's pretty big release. All right. So again, payroll numbers. Again, non-farm payroll data is dropped this Friday. This is all very relevant to this. All right, guys. Job openings. Yeah. Hey, thank you, Mo. Yeah, so they were way off last month for sure. Again, we covered this data quickly, guys. So again, if you haven't already subscribed, we got over 600 people here pretty early. It's like 8 a.m. So thank you so much for joining the stream here, guys. The market's starting to break down. Yeah, I mean, it's just manipulation. Penny stocks, one thing that's consistently universally true in stocks is that new traders are going to chase penny stock volatility and gambling rushes from penny stocks. That's just universally true. It happens every time a new trader enters the market. The first thing they look at is to get a rush from it. And again, usually to get that rush, they chase these little speculative, crazy movers. In the end, you zoom out, they're going to be incredibly risky, but you know, who knows what they're going to do short term. All right, guys. So again, ADP data came out today. Friday, we have the actual non-farm data numbers coming out. That'll be very relevant for everything going on too. Big pop back up in markets. Markets rising back up. The Nasdaq's bouncing back up pretty steady here. Big bounce. We'll see if it holds. At about 380 or so for the Nasdaq, about 380s. And again, if you haven't already, check out Momo. If you open up an account and deposit at least $100, you get 5 free stocks. You open up a deposit at least 1,000, you get 15 free stocks. You open up an account deposit at least 5K, you get the previous 15 plus Google or Tesla share. And I got Tesla. And so again, zero commission stock trades open the entire time of pre-market. Again, what they offer is really useful. Like I check all the economic data, like non-farm payroll numbers drop Friday, unemployment drops Friday, their economic calendar. I can check earnings, IPOs, dividends, holidays, all that good stuff. Again, this is incredibly useful. I built a screener that looks at market cap of greater than or equal to 100 billion, PE ratio of less than 40, and around 20-day lows. And so very useful. And again, this is just a small piece. I can look at headlines and see what's moving. I can look at hotspots and see all this different stuff. And again, zero commission stock and options trades, or I don't know about options, but zero commission stock trades, again, open the entire time in pre-market. Again, if you want to check them out, they are a sponsor of mine. Great way to help support the channel. Get up to 16 free stocks. You can check out the link right there. We're still grinding in this account now. They're full stocks. They're not fractional shares. I got like Palantir, Grab, and a couple other ones, and so they're not fractional shares. They're full stocks. If they were fractional shares, I'd tell you. We're gonna see how a lot of other stocks open up. I don't know. I think Tradeovate's having issues. DC fan. I think Tradeovate's been having issues. I've been using Quant Tower, and I love it. Super useful. I never really have any issues there. But I think Tradeovate's been having some issues, so you might want to reach out to them. I know they're flooded right now, and it's not them. I mean, they have independent like platforms, right? So like on Topstep, you can use Tradeovate, you can use Quant Tower, you can use TradingView through Tradeovate. But they've had Tradeovate issues. And again, it's not Topstep's fault. Like people are blaming Topstep are usually like insiders with the other companies that are just kind of trying to use this opportunity to talk smack. But they're doing it right. Like they're allowing certain people to switch and all that good stuff. But the big thing to understand, guys, is that Quant Tower hasn't given me any issues. I love Quant Tower. And again, if you want to check out Topstep, they're a funded program for futures. They're a sponsor of mine as well. So I'm biased, of course, because they pay me money. But really useful if you want to day trade, actively day trade. You're not going to have an easy time doing it in stocks. Here's another one of my accounts. We're up about 650 today on Topstep. But yeah, you're not really going to be able to do it actively in stocks unless you have over 25 grand. Even with a cash account, you can only go long. That severely restricts you. The futures market, no PDT restrictions. You can day trade short in futures, no PDT rule. And Topstep's the most legit futures funded program in the world, where they give you a demo. The base one's $50K. It's only $49 right now. And if you can hit $3K in profit on that $50K demo without losing over $2K and following their rules, they fund you $50K with a 90% split, and you get to keep your first $10,000 in profit. And when you day trade futures, you can day trade the S&P 500. You can day trade the NASDAQ. You can day trade currencies, gold, silver. A lot of Forex traders should be trading futures. A lot of stock traders should be trading futures. And again, most people are going to lose these challenges because most day traders lose. But that's kind of the point, is that it's a lot cheaper to lose a Topstep account than it is to put up 10K yourself in futures and risk thousands doing that. And so it's a great way to learn. You still have some pressure, but it's not the full extent of putting up thousands of dollars yourself. The risk is limited, but if you pass it, you still get 90% split. You still get to keep your first 10K. And they've been around for over a decade. They're the most legit one in the world. You can check out the link right here. I don't know. Microsoft's definitely shown AI gains. I mean, if you look at the revenue graph from Microsoft right here regarding AI, Microsoft has certainly showed AI strength. They had their highest quarterly revenue ever, their last quarter at 56.18. And Microsoft, over almost all the other AI companies, is going to have a more direct influence by AI than the other companies, especially, with OpenAI, with the OpenAI deal. And so again, Microsoft had its largest quarterly revenue ever at 56.18 billion. So I mean, Microsoft definitely is seeing some influence over AI. So yeah, I mean, I think it's important to note that. ADP was much higher than expected. Much higher than expected. Yeah, I mean, on Moomoo, there's the PDT rule. I mean, zero commission stock trades. I mean, it's subjective. Everything else is subjective. I like the platform, but try it out. You know, couldn't hurt. It's free for the most part. Yeah, we're watching the rest of our portfolio, just kind of hanging out here with it. Do you think ADP will forecast the Friday numbers? Well, I mean, last time they projected one thing for the prelim non-farm data like they did today, and then they showed something completely different on Friday. And so it's never like a for sure thing. Like, it's never something that we know like exactly what's going to happen here. Just be careful. Like, there's some predictions that we can make from today's ADP prelim data, which is the non-farm employment change data, but it's certainly not like a for sure given thing. So y'all just got to be careful. Yeah, on Moomoo, guys, for those asking about commissions, there's fees, but the fees, every broker has to pay those fees. It's not just Moomoo. Every broker has to pay those fees. But if you look at U.S. stocks and ETFs, zero commission, zero platform fees, zero level 2 free. You get free level 2 data on Moomoo. I can't show it on my stream, but you do get free level 2 data if you open up an account, which is probably the most useful aspect of it. Can you trade the Q and SPY futures? Well, I mean, you're not going to be able to day trade directly the Q or directly the SPY, but you can basically day trade them. Like, to put it into perspective, the SPY is the S&P 500, and you can day trade the S&P 500 with pre-market data in futures. It's called the E-mini. It's the same price action. So, like, for instance, here is again, here's the E-mini, or here's the NASDAQ, right? The NASDAQ is the Q. Right, so the NASDAQ is, the Q is an ETF of the NASDAQ 100, which is what the Q is. You know, and so if you look at this specifically here, this is the NASDAQ futures contract. So basically, you can day trade the price action of the NASDAQ. Like, again, you'll see this is the same as this. Bounce up, red candle, red candle. You know what I mean? This is the same price action. You can kind of see downward trend. And so the NQ is the same thing as the QQQ in terms of price action. The price is different because this is a 3x leveraged ETF of the Q, is what the Q is. And for the SPY, it's the same thing, the E-mini and futures. So, like, here's the E-mini and futures, right, which is the S&P 500 futures contract. And again, here's the SPY. So again, same thing, just different price. Here's the downward trend. You can kind of see here, downward trend. Consolidation, two green candles. So it's the same. Oh wait, that's the SPY. Sorry. Here. So again, same price action here. It's the same thing. And so again, SPY breaking down, Q breaking down, same price action essentially here. It's slightly different, but it's basically the same thing. And so again, you zoom out here, you can kind of see it. Green, pullback, green, green, pullback, green, red, red, consolidation, consolidation, bounce, bounce, drop, drop. And so again, you can day trade basically the SPY in futures. CVS turning really quickly. I'm not sure why, but CVS turning fast. And again, if you haven't already, check out Topstep. Topstep funded program for futures. They are a sponsor of mine, but again, they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit it while following their rules, they fund you. You can check out the link in the description if you want more info on it. Yeah, Ferrari, I mean, they don't really move super heavy in pre-market, to be honest, most of the time. All right, so we did get mostly the earnings drop today. We're going to go ahead and clip this so we can post it, but we did get most of the earnings today out already. CVS and Humana beat earnings, but CVS again, we got along with Kraft Heinz, which is KHC. Other earnings, GNRC, we had PERI. Kiva. Phillips 66. I didn't even know they were still around. Ferrari. All right, so we posted a breakdown of the earnings today with a picture of what the earnings look like. Again, if you want to help support me, give me a follow on Twitter. We definitely appreciate it. We've been growing our Twitter lately, so you can check it out here if you want to help support us. Yeah, non-farm data is out already. It might be right below me, like right here, just to like weatherman it. It might be. It could be right below me. It might be right here. Yeah, I never said it was the same thing as Toss. It's not the same platform. It's a different platform, brother. I haven't made one personally, but they do have a bunch of tutorials out there. It just takes a little bit of learning here. Zooming in and zooming out is a little bit different. You know, you can drag and drop to get a zoom in on any time frame. So you can see I can drag and drop and zoom in here if I want. If I want to look at a 5-day chart graph, I can put up a daily chart here. I can put up all the different ones here. If I want to mess with indicators, I can put up moving averages here, which I don't like that one at all. I got to mess with that. Again, I want VWAP up there. There's EMA. I want the EMAs. I only want the 200 EMA realistically here. There we go. Maybe a little bit larger line. There we go. All right, put the EMA up here, just get that. And then we got the VWAP that we want. Again, we got the VWAP. Let me see if I can edit this. So the 200 EMA is still right above us. I want the EMA number. I'd rather it. Let's see. Yellow is my favorite color for the EMAs. There we go. So purple and gold. LSU, go Tigers. CBS breaking down a little bit here. We still got about a couple minutes left before the open. Yeah, the credit. So again, Fitch agency downgraded the U.S. credit from AAA to AA plus yesterday. They basically blamed it on deteriorating fiscal conditions. And so again, we had certainly got a correction yesterday. We got the VWAP. We're looking at the Q and the SPY here. Coinbase, yeah, Coinbase earnings tomorrow. Coinbase all the way down at 92.50. Oh, it's really interesting though because Bitcoin has actually been pushing up. You know, Bitcoin back up to almost 30K at 29.7K now. So Bitcoin's been doing well. Well, the Q and the market in general both don't like the non-farm data. So the non-farm data was pretty high, which, you know, with a market that's trying to combat inflation is not necessarily a great thing. What have I done here? There we go. But yeah, for a market trying to combat inflation, super high payroll numbers is not the greatest thing ever. And again, we'll see what happens. But yeah, AMD reported earnings. All right, so everything kind of dipped under the previous close. All right, so we got a little pop back up on the SPY. Again, we'll see if we actually hold, but we did get a little bounce up on the SPY. Again, let's see if we get a rejection. Is I guess what I'm looking for here. All right, so a little bounce in the market here. Again, let's see if we reject the VWAP. Got a little rejection there at the VWAP. Again, we're watching for that VWAP rejection here. We're going to give it time too. All right, so we did get that flush rejection back down. AMD probably the only one that opened up high. Yeah, I'll put AMD up. There's the Q on the right side. Again, AMD had earnings yesterday. They're pretty much flat. You can see the VWAP right there, the 200 EMA down there. We did get a rejection at the VWAP. And again, you can kind of see we are actually in a trade on the E-mini playing this rejection at the VWAP. We shorted it on the bounce to the VWAP. We're going to cover it here and just lock in a little bit more profit here. Again, we are up in this account about $800 today, about $800. Again, the goal is to get funded twice this week. But again, what we did is, here's the SPY. We basically traded the E-mini. And again, what we did is we looked for the breakdown under the volume weighted average price right here. And then we looked for a bounce up and then anticipated a rejection. And that's what we caught. Worked really well. Again, we'll see what happens with the market opens in 45 minutes or so. All right, get another bounce to the VWAP here. Again, I don't know what I want to do with this. We are getting another little pop to it. %51% say helped hurt the market. It's a pretty split there at about 600 votes. Yeah, I'll take it. Again, do me a favor, bump the like number up here if you haven't already, guys. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Again, SPY started to bounce back a little bit. I'm not going to short again yet. Again, you guys red or green so far this week? It is Wednesday. We still got Apple and Amazon earnings tomorrow, which is a really, really big release here, guys. Really, really big release. So Market's starting to rebound back up. The Q is, or AMD is. Look at AMD back up to 120.30s here, guys. 120.30s. Does AMD hold its gains today? Big question. Again, AMD might be dragging the market up like the Q up. Yeah, look at AMD surge here, guys. Wow. AMD ripping back up here. Look at that move. So AMD up to 120.70s right now for AMD. AMD fighting back this morning, man. Making a move for sure. See if there's any catalyst for AMD here. All right, so Starbucks CFO says fundamentals of revenue are broad and strong. CVS executive says 24 adjusted EPS outlook of $9 is no longer reasonable. They should expect 850 to 870 instead of 9. So relevant to watch. Again, AMD earnings are out, and they came out yesterday. It's doing pretty well. I mean, they're not going to have only green movement from earnings. And so again, one of the things about earnings is you never really know how the stock's going to react to it. You know, an extension, front loading, you know, baked in movement plays a big factor in earnings releases. Like basically leading up to the earnings, if everybody's front loaded into the potential good outcome, then whenever the good outcome is announced, it's going to be less big of a move because everybody's already got it kind of gotten baked into it, if that makes sense. And vice versa. And so that's one of the reasons you probably see AMD not making the biggest move because AMD already is up a lot over the last few days. And so even with the good earnings, you know, here's AMD's chart back since July 20th. You know, in mid-July, AMD was at $110 right now, $110. Now it's at 120.50s. So huge run. That's probably one of the reasons AMD's earnings, even though they were better than expected, did not just kind of skyrocket the stock up. If that makes sense. It's because there's a lot of people that already, you know, are baked into that potential green action. There's the market bouncing back up, the E-mini popping back up, the Q popping back up. A lot of green action showing back up in charts. Yeah, AMD earnings, just to put this into perspective, guys, so you guys can see what they actually showed. AMD showed 57-cent EPS on 4.7. Or no. I'm sorry. AMD's right here. So here were AMD's numbers right here. We'll put them up on screen. They showed 58-cent, beat the 57-cent estimates. Sales came in better than expected. These were slight beats, though, so these were very slight. These weren't like the craziest beats in the world. They were only slight. All right, so the E-mini bouncing back up over the 200 EMA, mostly being brought upon by AMD's good green action here. Michael Saylor buying more Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, Disney's pretty cheap. I mean, I've already taken profit on most of my trade. Like we took profit yesterday around $90 a share, a little bit under 90. We still got a little piece of it left though, but it's not a big piece at all. So I mean, we're already kind of out of it already, if that makes sense. So like, we'll see what happens, um, but yeah. Yeah, AMD back up to 120.50. SPY back up. Yeah, I mean, with AMC, I don't know what it's going to do. AMC drops their earnings sometime, don't they, after the bell? August 8th. So AMC drops their earnings next week on Tuesday. So again, we're covering AMC earnings next Tuesday. That'll still be big. All right, still getting some breakdowns back in the E-mini. Pretty flat, though. I mean, we're not showing any, like, crazy gains. Again, so we dipped down a little bit. AMD still running up. How is NVIDIA going throughout all this stuff? So NVIDIA with AMD's earnings still down to 450s on the day. Still a crazy run for NVIDIA over the last couple months, to be honest, though. So man, let me put some music back up. All right, guys. So again, we're trading our $1,000 account too, or 150K combine as well. Up nicely in that one. I would love to get funded in this one too. Let's see. So far in our 50K combine, we are up about 4K. So still got some time to hit. Again, but I see the SPY breaking down under the 200 EMA, under the volume average price. It looks really weak here. Let's see if we get a bounce back and maybe we can capitalize on that. Yeah, I saw that, Marcos. All right, guys, so we're going to get ready to trade some more futures. Again, I'm kind of scalping futures right now. I mean, the market already is bouncing back a little bit relative to where it was. Like, again, if we look at the SPY price action here, the SPY price action mostly gapped down from the downgrade. We basically bounced back. We were at 451s. We've basically bounced all the way back to 454s today, even where we're currently at, which is about right there. The market has already bounced back some. But again, I think to understand the true nature, like one thing that I'll see very often, and I see this so much, it's not even funny, man, is one thing I see very often is I see bearish traders in the chat say the market's going to fall, the market's going to fall. And like, as they say that, the market kind of goes like this. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden we'll get something like this. We'll get a pullback, like a red day, which is very small in hindsight. Like if you look at the full run of the S&P 500 lately, like here's a daily chart, right? So like here's this year, just this year, right? So this is this year alone right here. So, I mean, of course, like we're going to pull back a little bit eventually. We're not going to just hold crazy gains forever. We're going to pull back a little bit. But it's like the bears that were saying the market was short here are acting like they're right when the market pulls back like this. You know what I mean? And that's just, again, people are desperate to be right. In the end, the market's still incredibly strong. It's still, I think, honestly, people say I'm a perma bear. I think the market still could be considered extended on the upside. As well. But if you're playing long term, it doesn't matter. And so I guess my point is just be objective about the market. I know certain people push for one specific direction. One thing that I appreciate is objectivity. I think being objective is important because, again, I just don't see it very much. Yeah, I mean, SLUN, kind of a sketchy penny stock, but it is an AI stock, so maybe it's a little bit better. I do see SLUN bounce. Why is it bouncing up right now? It's not earnings. Earnings drop on Tuesday next week. So hard to be objective. Have to look at it and say where are the buyers and where are the sellers. Yeah, for sure. But again, I guess one thing that I can appreciate is like a variety of bias longer term, right? So it's like, it's one thing if you come in here one day and you say, hey, it's looking really bullish today. You know, after a month or so, you're saying, hey, it's looking bearish today. You know, after a month or so saying, hey, you know, now it's looking a little bit more bullish. That's fine. And I understand that mindset. It's another thing if like, you know, the FOMC meeting happens and it's like, oh, well, the market's bearish. And then the market pushes up more. And then they say, oh, well, AMD earnings are bearish. And then AMD has good earnings and moves up. And then, you know what I mean? If it's just constant one directional bias, I just look at the person like they're emotional about it, their own positions. In the end, nobody knows, you know? So like, we'll see what happens. I think the market could be a little extended where we are now, though. So I think the market, again, the SPY is pushed up a lot. And so the question is, like, is this pullback a start of a correction, or is this pullback just normal flow of long-term upward action, a bull market? Because, again, here's a daily chart basically based off of this year. And, again, the SPY is still up huge amounts. And so that's kind of where I am. But, again, I don't know. I always buy stuff long-term anyway. And the stuff I'm buying right now is stuff that's already down, like on the year. So the stocks that I'm buying up are stocks that are down already. You know, like those are the ones that I'm buying up. And we'll see if it works out. Thinking NVIDIA breaking under VWAP. Still watching AMD pretty close, honestly, here. So AMD dipping back down to the 200 EMA and the volume weighted average price. You can kind of see that level here. And again, I'm not sure if it's going to hold or not, but you can kind of see we are dipping down to these milestone levels, the 200 EMA and the VWAP here. So we'll see if we hold that spot. Typically, it seems to be a bounce level that's relevant. PayPal earnings are interesting. I'm probably not going to cover them too heavy, but they're interesting. You know, worth a watch, I think. And we're ready to day trade stocks. In KLA, we got AMD on the right today, Tesla on the bottom right. Get ready to trade some futures trading. Been mostly shorting the E-mini today. Again, up in a couple different accounts. We're going to switch to our funded account and try to make a small cushion that we can take larger risk once we have it. So there's the E-mini still falling back down a little bit. So the open is going to be really interesting. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so it looks like Topstep removed Trade Evade from its list of platforms. And to put it into perspective, for those that are really going to be hard on Topstep through all this, the other platforms use Trade Evade as well and have the same issues. And so it's not like it's just Topstep. It's all the funded account programs that are using Trade Evade. Check out Quant Tower, guys. Quant Tower is really nice. It's the platform I use. It's great. It's super versatile, really, really clean price action on the candles. And again, just easy to analyze, easy to use for my charting. And it's something that I use pretty regularly for my trading. And it's what I have on my funded account, you know, so I am funded in one of these accounts. It's what I'm using for that one, as well as basically all the other ones. I tried to use Trade Evade before the issues were even there. And Trade Evade's great and all, but I like Quant Tower much better, in all honesty. Y'all do me a favor. We only need 50 subs left to hit 112K. 50 subs left. Getting a little bounce. again, to put it in perspective, this is a slower week for us in terms of economic data. You know, when we're looking at this, again, it's a slower week for economic data. But again, when we're looking at this, so the Bank of England does do their rate hike decision tomorrow. So we also have jobless claims and non-farm productivity tomorrow as well at 8:30. So that'll be good. We have the Challenger job cuts tomorrow as well. Services and non-manufacturing PMI at 10. And again, we're going to cover that data. And again, we also have big earnings with Apple, Amazon earnings tomorrow. That's huge. And then Friday, again, we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment numbers dropping Friday. Expectations for unemployment are 3.6%. That's what they were showing up last time, was 3.6%. And so basically flat on unemployment month to month. And again, 3.6% is what's expected for that data. Payroll numbers, let me look at that real quick, actually. So payroll numbers on Friday are expected to show, and again, that's not including today's numbers, but payroll numbers are expected to show on Friday 200,000. Now, again, the question is, does that come in high? Last time, you know, the prelim numbers this morning came in pretty high. And so maybe we're going to see a change in that. I'm not sure. And then Monday of next week, we don't really have anything in terms of economic data. Tuesday of next week, we've got basically a flat economic release as well. Nothing really going on economically in those days. We do have AMC earnings Tuesday and a couple other big earnings Tuesday. Wednesday of next week, pretty flat economic data wise too. Thursday, I think we have CPI. Yeah, so Thursday we have CPI next week, and then Friday we have PPI. So the first half of next week is going to be relatively slow, followed by a pretty busy week following that. Michigan consumer sentiment data afterwards. And again, this isn't even including the earnings that drop next week, which, you know, we got some. So next week, if we look at a calendar, Monday, earnings-wise, we've got Tyson, BioNTech, and a couple other ones. And that's in the morning. In the evening, we've got Palantir earnings in the evening, which we'll probably cover. Lucid, you know, again, that's Monday evening next week. Tuesday, again, we got some pretty big earnings. Eli Lilly, UPS, Datadog. And then Tuesday evening, we've got Rivian, AMC, Upstart. Now, Upstart's been on a run. We also have Supermicro as well. And then Wednesday next week, we've got Roblox, Sony, Penn Gaming in the morning. In the evening on Wednesday, we got Disney, Plug, CGC, Canopy Growth Company, which is a cannabis stock, Sonos, and a couple other ones. And then Thursday of next week in the morning, we've got Alibaba in the morning, CyberArk, US Foods. And then Thursday evening, we've got nothing really big. We got like IONQ, Zyme, Envy, Gevo. So that's it. But again, Thursday, we got CPI. And then Friday, we have nothing. Air Canada, basically nothing. So again, we got some busy earnings the first half of next week, and then afterwards, and you know, later on in the week, we have economic data running things, and then after that, again, Friday we also have PPI data coming out too. So interesting that they're coming out that date, and then the next week on the 14th, we got retail sales the next week. Wednesday we got some stuff. Wednesday we got building permits, housing starts. Gotcha. Thursday, the Philly Fed Index. Yeah, so a busy couple weeks here. And again, tomorrow, Apple, Amazon earnings are big. Like gold is kind of a... Quant Tower is not really that complicated, Michelle. I mean, again, if you need help with it, you know. Yeah, I never liked Trade-A-Bait. Yeah, if Trade-A-Bait's working, that's great. I never liked it as a platform. I always like Quant Tower more. Let me rephrase. I liked Trade-A-Bait when I first started trading futures. After time, I started to like Quant Tower more. And again, for me, I'm sponsored by Topstep. And so originally, if I'm being honest, Quant Tower was like, I had to use them exclusively. And but then now it's no longer exclusive. Like I could use any platform, but I'm still using Quant Tower, which shows you like I genuinely like Quant Tower more. Yeah, so it's gonna be busy next week. I didn't realize how busy next week was gonna be with earnings coming out. We got earnings, we got freaking CPI, PPI. Next week's gonna be chaotic for how busy it is, man. But I like busy. Busy's good for my channel too. So this week's slow, next week won't be. Again, AMD, guys, up to 120.50s right now. 120.50s for AMD. It's a big move. Again, back up to 120.30s. So yeah, I'm not sure. If you had problems with Trade Evade, I think they're doing it on a case-by-case basis from what I saw, Davey. How is AMC earnings considered big? Not big for the market movement. Like the market's not going to follow AMC. It's big for the channel and just in general, like the amount of people that show up for it. Like typically with AMC earnings, we get thousands here, like live. Like not thousands. We get thousands of views, of course, but like we get thousands simultaneously here live for AMC earnings. So in that regard, it's big, but it's subjective. Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't, you know. All right, definitely been on a little downward trend here on the E-mini lately. JP Morgan took delivery of 17.3 thousand contracts for GLD. No, I'm in gold. You can talk about it. I'm in it right now. I'm in it small with as basically a hedge. You know what I mean? So I'm in small as kind of like a hedge. Any way to see stop loss and TP? Well, yeah, it shows up when you enter a position. You see the profit that you're up in the trade. It's on the trade right here. Again, it takes a little while to learn. Again, to use Quant Tower, what I do, here's the way you use it. You should see the menu at the top. You click the main screen and go down to Analytics and click Chart. Once you click Chart, you can control what account you have here. Like you can change your account there. You can see all the other stuff by clicking this window all the way on the right. You can see buy market, sell market, buy bid, sell the ask, all that good stuff. You can see limit orders, stop losses, all that good stuff, quantities. You can leave comments about individual symbols. And then, yeah, that's basically how you do it. And then if you want to see your actual stuff, you go to that same window in the top left, and then you go to information. You go to information section, and you go to account performance. And your account performance should pull up here, and it'll show you your win-loss ratio, your drawdown. That's basically all you need to use it. Yeah, I mean, again, Finch downgraded the U.S. from AAA to AA plus. The reason they said it was because deteriorating fiscal conditions. A similar thing happened in 2011 on basically the rebound from the 2008 financial crisis. And so that's kind of, something that a lot of people are comparing the two. But the market did see, and again, we covered this like 3 or 4 times already this morning, but the market did see drops yesterday from this, for sure. So the market did see drops yesterday. The market is gapping down some. What's making the market dip like this today? It's basically the same thing. It's just negative sentiment from everything. But again, I mean, guys, to put it into perspective, I've shown this screen a couple times before. the markets, when you look at it really truly here, again, let's put up like, let me see if it'll let me on. I'm not sure. Yeah. So let's pull up, like, we can pull up the SPY, for instance, right? So here's the SPY, basically the S&P 500. Here's a daily chart on the S&P 500. And so even with the SPY where it currently is now, you know, here's the year so far. Oh, wait, this is not even, this is just a quarter of the year. Here's the year so far, right? So again, even if we dip today, it's kind of a natural conclusion. It's kind of like, you know, this is not bad. You know what I mean? And what a lot of people do, again, a lot of people do is they say bearish predictions way back here. You know, they'll put bearish predictions out, like, again, way back here. Or hold on, let me fix that. They'll make bear predictions way back here. And then the market will push up. And then we'll pull back slightly and they'll say, see? That's something you see a lot. We have some large gaps to fill. Again, for me, I think the market's a little extended on the upside. The stocks that I'm buying right now are mostly stocks that are already extended on the downside. I'm a little bit more comfortable there doing that, you know. All right, guys, 11 minutes. Again, mostly been in a downward trend. We're watching AMD pretty closely here because AMD dropped their numbers. And again, the whole market might just be waiting for Apple and Amazon earnings to come out. The last few times Apple and Amazon dropped their earnings, it was in a period of market red, weak, bearish action. Like the market was falling heavily heading into Apple and Amazon earnings. And so we're seeing a similar mirroring effect here where the market's starting to dip ahead of Amazon and Apple earnings. And the last time they dropped, I think they kind of saved the market. The market was down big, and then they dropped good earnings, and then the market pushed up. And again, I'm not saying a similar thing's going to happen tomorrow. I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. But again, the setup is the same. Where leading into these big earnings, you know, we had bearish action, and again today we definitely have bearish action, even though we're still pretty green. Not just on the year, of course, but like the market, to put it into perspective, is still green on the week. They're pretty close to flat on the week. But again, kind of a neutral week on a very green month, very green year. So do you recommend to sell all stocks or just hold for long term? I don't recommend anything. I don't know what you should do. What you should do depends on your specific portfolio, your specific risk tolerance, your specific trading strategies, your niche of trading, whether you're investing, day trading, swing trading. Again, I have no idea whether you should buy or sell. Nobody does. You know, it's kind of a very vague question. Should I sell? Is a very vague question that is impossible to answer without knowing deep understanding of your like personal situation with stocks. Again, I have no idea what you should do. Hey, good luck, Todd. Justin, what's up, man? I call it a healthy pullback. Yeah, pullbacks are healthy. And I think with how up the market has been, pullback might be necessary. But again, the stocks that I chose to buy are all stocks that are not pumping up with the rest of the market. But I still, some of the stocks, like I bought Microsoft. The only reason I bought Microsoft is because it's on a pullback. I bought a little bit of Google, but they're both small trades. And again, the reason I bought these is because, number one, Microsoft was on a dip. And number two, because I had so many stocks that were down on the year, I wanted to diversify my long-term portfolio. And so with that, I ended up buying a little bit of Microsoft, a little bit of Google, you know, just to kind of diversify the portfolio, which I always think is a good thing, a healthy thing. Here goes the E-mini bouncing up. And again, you can see the trend that we're in currently. Let's see if we can draw it. This might be the trend we're in. It doesn't mean we are. You know, that's what the trend currently looks like to me. Again, it might be the trend. I don't know if it's going to hold. Again, we'll see if this breaks the top of this range. Here's Tesla pushing up to 255s, AMD up to 120. Dow push it up a little bit. What's the price per tick on the Dow in terms of futures on the YM? Anybody know? I think it's $5 actually per tick is what it looks like to me. Again, we need less than 50 subs to hit 112K. We're going to hit that tomorrow, probably today or tomorrow. I'm a Saints fan. My life's not been that great this past year for Saints fans. So I'm a Saints fan, but yeah, hadn't been the greatest. And again, we're going to get ready to day trade the opening bell. We'll see if we get something good. Yeah, watching Carvana, see what they're doing today. All right, guys. So again, we're kind of hanging out. There we go. The Aints, yeah. Yeah, Sean Payton, man. Yeah, it's not the greatest law. I mean, it's not the greatest thing for us to lose Sean Payton. He was a great coach, man. Just a great coach. Hedgies want their discounts. Yeah, Josh Allen in Buffalo, man. He's impressive. I'll give him. You know, he's impressed me some for sure. All right, guys. We're going to try to get our trading done and see what the market gives us afterwards. All right, so still in this trend here. I'm going to widen it out a little bit just so we can see it. But here's the E-mini trend. We opened up in about a minute and a half. Payroll numbers came in over expectations, well over that. So heading into the opening bell today, that's kind of what we're seeing. We see this trend. Yeah, Drew Brees is the GOAT, man, for sure. We have a car going into next season, so we'll see how well he treats us. He's getting old, man. He's 32. He's not super old, but he's definitely not young for a quarterback. Less than a minute, guys. Less than a minute. All right, the Dow flushing down again, still in this trend. I would short it, but the market's about to open up in about 10 seconds, so I don't want to take a trade. I'm gonna let it settle down first. It's not 32 isn't old. Okay, I'm older than 32. All right, so I'm not calling 32-year-olds old. I'm saying 32 for a quarterback is old. Prime age for a QB is like 22 to 30. You know what I mean? Once you're over 30 as a quarterback, those sacks are gonna hurt. Anyways, here's the opening bell. There's the opening bell. We're watching Tesla. Here's AMD dipping pretty heavy into the open. All right, Tesla popped up a little bit. SPY selling in. NVIDIA breaking down a little bit. AMD flushing down, although the market's pushing up some. I'm going to short the E-mini here and see if we get some good volume. I see Tesla starting to flush. So we're going to short the E-mini out of not a hunch, but instinct. And see if it works out for us. So far we're green. There's the flush. Nice breakdown. We're going to go and cut it. All right, so we just made another $100. Again, our instincts are good sometimes, man. Again, I saw Tesla flush. I thought the market would reject at the top of this trend line. We got a decent amount of confirmation. AMD is breaking down, though. So AMD starting to flush, although the Dow is pushing up some. Microsoft's dipping. The Fitch rating was AA+. Nah, man, people can't hate. Tom Brady was the GOAT, dude. You know what I mean? People can hate, but like Tom Brady was the GOAT, man. Listen, I'm a Saints fan. It's not like, like Tom was the GOAT, dude. Let's just be real for a second. All right, so we're back in that trend here still. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of my Disney trade. We're just up so much that, like, I'm going to lock in profit before we see some dips. Look at Tesla fly up here, though, guys. Wow. Tesla ramping up. Let's see if we get a little bounce here. Again, we do have a pretty decent little cushion here on everything. All right, market's still flushing back down. I'm going to buy this dip at the bottom of the range, although this could be risky. But again, we're already up about 1,600 in this 150K combine. And so this is actually a small trade, despite what it looks like in this account size. And we'll also add one more contract here, and that's going to be the max we're taking in this trade. Attacking that bottom trend range. All right, so we'll probably cut this. Again, we're already up $1,400 on this account. This looks like it's not working on the long side. We'll give it one more second, but I don't want to give back all the gains we had trying to buy the bottom. Yeah, so we're out. And again, here's our graph today. Don't want to give too much back. Again, we are currently up about $1,250 on the day. So nice little cushion on that one. Mostly built up in pre-market. If we hold this trend, though, we might be interested in attacking the trend again. Look, I mean, ideally, we could hold this trend, I guess. I'll go ahead and buy the dip. A lot of stuff bouncing back up today, honestly. Again, we'll see if it holds. AMD looks weak, for sure. So microchips look struggling, but everything else is doing all right. Yeah, we'll let this one test our trend line, but again, getting faked out over and over again, not really fun. So, I mean, I want to be patient. I'm watching the Dow also. All right, so here's the E-mini. We're flat on this trade now. Again, we're in a very small trade on this account right now. All right, so we're up again on this trade on the long side here. I'm gonna let this work some. Again, we're already up on the trade. We're already up on the account. And so I can be a little bit more loose with it. Yeah, I mean, Pew Pew, I'm reading your chat log. I don't see anywhere that you said the open would be red. Maybe I missed it. I'm looking now. Yeah, I don't see anywhere where you said anything bearish. You said, can you pull up OPAD earnings? Bitcoin pump last night. Debt became way more expensive. Yahoo Finance said yesterday that retail is finally coming back to the market. He was happy right up until then. Never seen a person sad on a jet ski, you know. But again, I don't see any super bearish predictions. All right, so we're up about 2 something on the day. We're going to go ahead and cut that. And so that'll actually bring us back to where we're up about $1,500 on the day on the long side. Again, I'm not trying to say that. Again, just we're actually got a pretty good day. We're actually green on target today, believe it or not. We're green on target today. Again, we've been buying on that dip. Again, the PE ratio just seemed objectively cheap for me. We're green on General Mills, green on gold today, green on Honeywell today, green on SOXS, which is a ETF short. Again, we'll see if we hold. We've mostly been in this trend. Yeah, it's all good, Pew Pew. It's all good, brother. But again, we're just kind of sitting tight. Again, we got into some dip buys, but they were mostly stocks that were down on the day. And we're still in this trend. Again, here is our profit on the day on this account currently. We are up about 15 to 1 win-loss ratio. We're up about 1450, about 1,500 or so. We might buy this dip again, see if we could attack that upward trend. Maybe scale into 2 or 3 contracts. Tesla dipping down a little bit. We got to watch that. Watch for AMD to pick up some legs too. Here's another thing we're keeping an eye on. I just took half of that off right there. Again, we're up about a little bit over 1,500 right now on the day. I wanted to take a larger size, but we bounced so quickly it didn't matter. We'll go ahead and cut it. So yeah, we are currently up 1,540 on the day. NASDAQ's been pretty red. Oh no, dude. Oh, that sucks, man. I accidentally lost $300 on my funded account, dude. I was trying to short the NASDAQ, and it would have worked, too. I was trying to short it on my actual account, not my funded account. Ah, man, that sucks. Just honest mistake there. And the NASDAQ here. I accidentally lost on my real account instead of my Combine account, which sucks. Watching the NASDAQ, though, we'll see if it picks up some legs. Yeah, markets are looking green though for sure. They're starting to look much healthier right now. Again, I don't know if they're going to continue in the green, but they're starting to look a little bit better. All right, so again, market's starting to push back up over that trend. Back over that trend. Yeah, it's pretty easy to switch accounts. Again, I just didn't have it up. I had the wrong account up. When you open up a new account, it picks the top one, and that's what ultimately dragged me out of that one, unfortunately. And it's all good. Again, we're still in it. We're still funded. I just lost a little bit more. We're going to have to work a little bit harder to build that cushion up now is what we're going to have to do. And again, it's all good. Let me figure out what this one is. All right. All right, watching the NASDAQ here. We'll see if it flushes. E-mini's bouncing up some too. All right, well, pretty solid day for me in this account right now. See, this is what I was trying to do. I was trying to short because we got to take some size. So we got 11-1 profit factor today. We are up in the 150K combine, about $2,500 today, which is definitely what we want, which makes us tomorrow we'll have in this one to get funded, specifically in this one. Let's see, we're up 25 plus about. Yeah. So to get funded in this one tomorrow, we only need about 4,000. It's not a small amount, of course, but like we're on our way there. I'd love to get funded in the 150K combine. It's just much more room. Yeah, so there's $1,000 daily max loss, so it'll cut you out of the trade, Davey, if you lose over $1,000 on any particular day. It doesn't actually eliminate you from the combine, but they'll cut you out of the trade. They're not going to let you trade more, if that makes sense. Pretty good day. Again, we're green in Target, green in Walgreens, flat in TSN, green in SOXS, green in Honeywell, green in General Mills, green in Gold, flat. We got out of Disney today. We might add more if it dips more. Again, here's the E-mini. And just made a little bit more, up over 3,000 in this one. 12-1 profit factor today, so we're killing it today in this. All right, so I'm trying to do the math here in this account. All right, so good little day for sure. Watching Microsoft today as well. And again, if you want to check out TopStep, this is a funded account program. I'm trying to get funded in my 150K combine is what I'm working on getting funded in my 150K combine. Again, we're going to make a push for that tomorrow. So again, ideally, if we can build up a cushion tomorrow of like $1,000 to $2,000, then we could probably make the cushion where we could potentially get funded in this 150K combine. We're right there. We're very close. And again, what TopStep is a funded program for futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the target while following their rules, they fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split. And there's no PDT in futures. So you can day trade in futures, short. You can see buy market, buy bid, sell the ask. We've mostly been attacking this downward trend. Again, we're going to short here, just like stocks. This is the S&P 500 that I'm shorting right now. The patterns in this are very similar to like day trading Apple or day trading Google, except there's no PDT in futures. And, you know, TopStep allows you to get funded if you can pass their testing. Again, the base one's 50K. In funding, if you can pass it, it's 50K in funding. You got to make 3K in profit without losing over 2K total, or $1,000 a day will lock you out of the account for the rest of the day. But again, if you can do that, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. They've been around for over a decade. They pay out millions and fund thousands of traders every year. They pay out millions in actual withdrawals. And it really is a great way to test your skill. And it's the best of both worlds, in my opinion, where you have limited risk. If you lose, the base package is $49 monthly. So if you lose, it's not the end of the world. You get a new one at every month. But if you're good enough to pass it, you still get 90%. You still get to keep your first 10K in profit. Again, the platform I'm using, Quant Tower, I can't recommend it enough. Again, they are a sponsor of mine, but you can check them out here if you want to help support the channel. We got another green trade here. We're up about 50 bucks. I'm going to let the breakdown happen, see if it continues in this trend. Up about 75 on this trade. Again, still in that downward trend. About 100 now, it looks like. I'm just going to go ahead and lock that in. Make a little bit more. Again, we're up about 3,200 or so in this account right now. Our profit factor is really nice today. Again, we got 12.5 to 1 profit factor in this account. You can see our graph. So basically, we're winning on a large majority of our trades in terms of accuracy. All right, so let me see. So I think we're going to sit on that profit for the day and then let that day's profit be done. All right, so we got this other account where we're up about 100, or we're up about 750. So this is the other one we're trying to get funded in right now. I'm gonna go ahead and short this E-mini trade, see if we catch a breakdown of the trend here, and then maybe add to it since we got a nice cushion on this one as well. This one we're up about 750 or so, 750. All right, looking for a rejection at the top of this trend line here for the market. We might add up to 3 contracts here on the E-mini, and then if it starts to really push, just cover. But I will take profit too if we start to break down enough. Nice little weak action forming here. I don't know if I like this price action here. I'm going to sit on the 2 contracts instead of adding to it. I mean, I think we could reject this trend. But, you know, it's been maintaining this trend for a minute now, and a lot of the time it doesn't last forever. I do like that up wick right there. That up wick indicates some selling pressure showing up. So we're not down much here. We keep getting that up wick. That now we might add a little bit to it. All right, so we got 3 contracts here. And we're going to end up having maybe cut it out of risk management. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut that. So that's our first loss in that account in a while. So we're still up 600 on the day. Profit factor still 4.5 to 1. I just can't trust it here when it's continuing to do this movement. Right at the low of the day. We'll see if we get a flush breakdown. There we go. We got one, and we took profit on it. And so again, you can see the profit graph here. Sorry, we were shorting the NASDAQ just now. We got this account to where we are up about 1150 in this one as well. So I hope you guys can see how you get funded. I mean, you might have to have multiple accounts like I do, but for 49 bucks, you can buy like 4 of them for $200. So, you know, I think that's the way you got to do it. But yeah, now we're up 1100 in this account. Our profit factor on this account as well is about 6 to 1. Nice little cushion. The E-mini trend still looks to be holding too. Part of me wants to draw it out a little bit more, but I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and short this one contract, see if we get a breakdown here. Yeah, kind of the worst reaction we could possibly get. I'm gonna cut this for a $75 loss or whatever that small little loss is. We're still up 1100 on the day. And I might jump right back in it if we start to get a rejection here, but I don't like that immediate bounce back. Got to watch Tesla too. Tesla's still pushing up. AMD is giving back a lot. So all right, so right back up. I'm going to probably close it down for the day. I don't see anything super favorable, and it's kind of a boring day. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, try to get funded with me. We'll see if we can get funded. We got a couple chances to get funded tomorrow, so I'm excited for that. And again, we'll see if we actually do or not. But we're already funded in one account. We'll take some more swings on that one as well. Goal is to get 150K in funding by the end of the week. We'll see if we can. Y'all be safe. Y'all be good. Again, tomorrow, we got a lot of stuff dropping. We got Apple, Amazon earnings dropping tomorrow morning. In terms of economic data tomorrow, we have jobless claims, services and non-manufacturing PMI data. In terms of morning earnings tomorrow, we have Budweiser, Warner Bros, Moderna, Expedia, and a couple other ones. And then as well as this evening, we have Robinhood, we have PayPal, we have a couple other earnings dropping this evening. We're not going to stream any. None of these are really big enough for me to stream, but we do have, again, Unity, Robinhood, Occidental Petroleum, QCOM, Shopify, PayPal, and others. But again, if you want to day trade, the futures market's probably where you want to do it. You can see me trading the S&P 500 today. And again, doing pretty well in my accounts. Again, one of them, I'm up about 1,100 with a 4-to-1 win-loss ratio. Another one, we are up, over 3K with a 12.5-to-1 win-loss ratio. So far, so good there. Again, we'll see if we can get funded on the 150K combine. Again, they give you a demo. They test your skill. If you can hit the targets while following their rules, they fund you between 50 to 150K.
most legit one in the world. Again, I would use Quant Tower. They've been having trade evade issues, so I would use Quant Tower. And good luck, guys. Love you all. Y'all be safe. Check out the links in the description. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Again, let me know what you guys think about the earnings this evening, and I'll see you guys later.